Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for not wanting to breastfeed my niece? Me and my sisters were pregnant at the same time. She was due in March, had her April 10th th. I was due in May, had my son May 7th th. We talked about breastfeeding when we were both pregnant, and we agreed that we both wanted to breastfeed. For many reasons. When she had my niece she decided breastfeeding wasn't for her, and I supported her 100%. I had my son, and breastfeeding was the best option for me. Me and my sister live together and sometimes she'll take the milk I freeze for my son. At first I didn't have a problem with it, because I had plenty milk, but she started going overboard with it. She'll take milk I specifically say not to. I asked her if she just wanted me to pump for her, and she said yes, so I started doing that. Since I pump so much, because I have to feed 2 babies, my boobs started producing so much milk that they're just so sore and overfilled. I try to pump more, but that just makes me produce more and more. I started pumping less and just feeding him straight off the nipple, and my sister would just come up and put my niece on my other boob. Like she literally will take my other boob out and put my niece on it. At first I let her, but then it just started feeling like she thought I was obligated to do it, because when I didn't want to she would get mad. She tried to put my niece on my boob earlier, and I just told her that I didn't want to breastfeed my niece anymore, and she should stop, because at this point it's getting weird. She got mad and was like, you know how badly I wanted to breastfeed my niece, and breast milk is so much better for a baby. If you loved her you would do it yet again. I told her no. My sister chose not to breastfeed. I chose to do it. I shouldn't have to always feed my niece every couple hours when I'm trying to give my boobs a break, because my son is on them most of the damn day. I'm starting to feel bad, because I do want my niece to be healthy, but shit, she's a damn baby, she doesn't know the difference between titty milk and formula. She getting her nutrition anyways and she's a healthy damn baby. Am I the antagonist? NTA expresses disbelief at the fact that you simply allowed your sister to place her child on your breast as if it were nothing. She continues, addressing NTA's sister. Perhaps it's time for you and your sister to break the tie and have your own lives. Comment by team member Alex. Now for the top comments. NTA. I can't even believe what I was reading. Like what? Who forces someone to breastfeed their own baby? Like you said, she made a choice to not breastfeed. You are only responsible for your own baby. You are not obligated to feed your niece. I'm just surprised it went a long time before you stopped agreeing to her nonsense. Who forces women to breastfeed someone else's baby? Enslavers. That practice is deeply rooted in American history. Wow. I'm actually speechless, and that doesn't happen that often. Like you said, she chose not to breastfeed, but now all of a sudden wants to, but not on her own boobs. I wonder what made her think this was okay, as it is anything but. It's an invasion of your privacy and personal space. And sister or not, this is just not okay. So not the a-hole for sure. Am I the antagonist for not answering my husband when he called? Husband is in a huge snot about this and has taken himself to the spare room over it. Tonight was the first time since giving birth 7 months ago that I have been out at night. By which I mean I didn't do baby's bedtime feed and routine. I left to go to the cinema with a friend shortly before his bedtime routine would begin. Husband used to help for the first 3 months with evenings, but has since said he's too tired from work, so I do it. I talked him through baby's routine, the room temp, lighting, noise etc preferences he has, and husband assured me he had everything under control. The move barely started when I started getting calls from husband. I texted to ask him what was wrong, and he said baby wasn't sleeping. I texted him back with reminders of how baby prefers things, and he said he had done it all. I checked the baby monitor, camera covers most of the room, and could see that the room lights were on. The white noise machine was off, and he hadn't tucked baby into his blanket. I texted him to say as much, and he started calling me again despite knowing him in the theater. He texted me to come home and put baby to bed. I told him I was sure he had everything in hand and put my phone on DND. I did periodically check on baby via the monitor and he was okay once husband actually followed the sleep routine. After the movie I saw that husband had continued to call me for like the next hour after we last spoke. When I got home he started arguing with me for ignoring his calls and berating me because I left him alone. I offered to show him bedtime for the last 2 days before going out and he didn't want to know. Am I the antagonist for ignoring his calls and not helping with baby? NTA. Your spouse ought to have been able to handle putting a 7-month-old kid to bed and you deserve some time to yourself. After 7 months. The fact that he still doesn't know how to accomplish this says a lot about him. He must pick himself up. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. NTA. This is called malicious willful ignorance on your husband's part. He didn't know what to do because he didn't want to know what to do. He wanted you to come home and do it for him. He needs to face the fact that he's a father now. And being a father means dealing with the everyday stuff of having a baby like feeding and putting the kid to bed. Don't back down. Up. Or you'll be feeling like a single parent for a long time. Husband used to help for the first 3 months with evenings, but has since said he's too busy/tired from work, so I do it. Tell him that you're tired too sometimes. But you suck it up and do it cause it's your responsibility as a parent. And that moving forward, you expect him to pitch in his fair share as the contributor of half of baby's DNA. When I got home he started arguing with me for ignoring his calls and berating me because I left him alone. Scott, I gave you all the information you need to put baby to sleep. Why did you keep calling me when you knew I was busy with something? Do some research on weaponized incompetence, not the a-hole. Am I the antagonist for using a squirt bottle for cats on my nephew? My nephew, Michael, just finished his sophomore year and is 15 years old. Due to circumstances that I would rather not discuss on Reddit, I'm Michael's legal guardian at the moment. The only real issue I've had with Michael is the fight to get him out of bed every morning on time for school. I made him set an alarm on his phone, but he just about always would turn it off and then sleep in. I would try putting Ravioli, my cat, on his chest, but Michael would just swat her away. I learned that my sister would oftentimes let Michael lay in until it was 11, then drop him off at school and lie that she had car troubles, so it would be an excuse late arrival. It took me throwing off his blankets and physically dragging him out of bed by his foot for Michael to get up. I was running late for work one morning, and Michael was refusing to get up again. I didn't have time to drag Michael out of bed, and I told him this. Michael was not budging. So I grabbed a squirt bottle that I used to house train my cats, filled it in the sink, and then squirted Michael with it until he got up. He got out of bed and ran to the bathroom in under 30 seconds. A huge improvement from 10 minutes of playing tug-of-war with Michael. I started to use the spray bottle every morning until he actually started using his alarm and getting up on time. I and Michael were visiting my cousin, Lucinda, and Michael made a joke, like I don't want Uncle Sean to spray me again. Lucinda asked for elaboration, then scolded me on the way home, saying that using the squirt bottle was demeaning to Michael, and that I'm treating my nephew like an animal. I don't see it that way at all. I simply can't drag him out of bed every morning. If we were both a decade younger, it might have been possible, but Michael's 15 and a big kid at that. Plus, now he's getting up on his own. Am I the antagonist for using a squirt bottle for cats on Michael? I believe that using water to wake up someone who simply won't get out of bed is as old as the idea of sleeping in. Although it's not enjoyable, it is a last resort, as you indicated. The only criticism seemed to come from Lucinda, who knew the spray bottle was meant for the cat. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. NTA. Lucinda can deal with the kids living in her home as she chooses. She doesn't get to tell you how to deal with the one living in your home. Plus, if he joked about it, he found it funny after the fact. It'll be a stupid, funny memory of the time his uncle chased him out of bed with a squirt bottle. NTA sounds like a pretty humane method of training large animals. I mean nephews. It sounds like nephew finds it funny anyway. and his judgment is all that really matters. Also show ravioli please. Am I the antagonist for threatening to fire my fiance? I, 35 male, and my fianc, 25F, work at the same bar together. That's actually how we met, was when she started working there 4 years ago. I asked her on a date not long after, and we've been together ever since. Currently, my fiance is 33 weeks pregnant. While I understand working and being on her feet is very hard for her, she just has really dropped the ball at work. Ever since she found out that she's pregnant, she's been sleeping in, showing up late, missing shifts, trying to leave early, giving away shifts last minute, and just having a bad attitude towards work in general. Yes, it's difficult for her to work now, and she gets tired easily, but I really don't think it excuses her behavior. She's been named in multiple negative reviews and it's been brought up by the owners more than once. Over the weekend, she was working during brunch, and she decided to leave early without being approved to do so. I had to come in to cover her because no one else was available. By time I got there, multiple tables had walked out from waiting for so long. Since we were understaffed to begin with, I didn't get home until late, since I was scheduled to close anyways, and I was furious. I slept on the couch, and when she tried to get me to come to bed I sat her down and told her how she couldn't pull something like that again, or she would be fired. She obviously didn't like this, and threw a fit, calling me names and crying about how she needs this job. She ended up going to her friend's house for the night. I know she's going through a lot, but I'm just tired of picking up the slack for her at work. So, am I the antagonist? Edit. I was not her boss when we were first dating. We were both bartenders and I didn't get promoted until 2 years ago. Her hours have been cut back significantly to the bare minimum, and I do most of the housework at home to try to help out. I even told her that we would be fine if she just quit or took leave early, but she doesn't want to do that. This must alter right away. You really played down the fact that she is 33 weeks along. That profession, which requires her to be constantly on her feet, is certainly straining her to the point where she can endure it. She ought to be relaxing at home with her feet up and not worrying about her job. Comment by team member Cody. Now for the top comments. You probably shouldn't be your fiancé supervisor. You two probably shouldn't be working together. It's not really possible to separate your personal life and work life. What do you think happens if you actually go through with firing her? I don't agree with her behavior, but that dynamic is just not workable. Edit. Your boss, the owner, is okay with you supervising your fiancé. That's a whole lot of liability. I suggest you formally transfer oversight of her to the owner and no longer be involved. It's unfortunate that she would bear the brunt of their relationship, but one of them seriously needed to leave, especially after one of them was promoted. You're living with someone you supervise to handle money. This is so inappropriate. I have a question. How long have you been a supervisor? She's working at a restaurant, on her feet all day, at 33 weeks. Wait, 33? Isn't that like 8 months? Yep, 8 months give or take. I feel like people forget pregnancy can truly be a disability. Am I the antagonist for walking out in the middle of dinner over a comment my husband made about my hair loss? I, F34, got diagnosed with cancer months ago. I'm reaching the end of my treatment. I'm doing pretty well, but my emotions are all over the place. I don't go out much, except to visit my husband's family. My husband has made comments about my hair loss a number of times which was hurtful, but he said he was kidding. I had no issue with it, since he apologized afterwards and did it in private. We went to my in-laws' house for dinner last night. We were all seated at the table and were about to eat when his sister and her husband and kids arrived last minute. His sister had a new haircut that she was showing to everyone. My husband for some reason kept staring at me, then flared said, "Damn, my name. Look at his sister's name. Hair. Why can't you at least get a wig instead of going out looking like that?" While pointing at me, I was beyond floor. He said that in front of everyone, and everyone was focusing on my head that barely had hair on it. I got up, went to wash my hands, and ordered an Uber, and walked straight outside and waited for it. My husband and his mom followed me telling me that I was being hypersensitive and that I should go back inside and not make a scene and ruin for everyone. I refused and went home shortly after. My husband came home and was seething. He started arguing about how he did nothing wrong and how I behaved in a disgraceful, disrespectful manner by getting up and walking out in the middle of dinner. We argued more and he just stopped talking to me after he ranted about how he's been putting enough with my bullshit already. His mom called me to tell me to get therapy for whatever insecurity I have and stop taking it out on my husband. Am I the antagonist? Did I overreact? He said I was being hypersensitive. Overreacted and ruined dinner for everyone. That he would consider such a thing disgusts me. And to do so in your presence and that of others. You're undergoing treatment that actively damages your body while trying to keep you alive and get rid of the cancer. And he wants you to get a new wig. Comment by team member Taylor. Now for the top comments. OMG, not the a-hole. Your husband is highly disrespectful, disgusting, and disgraceful. But you already knew that, right? You're going through treatment for something life-threatening, and the closest person to you is making jokes about your appearance. What a dick. She probably doesn't know that it's not normal, and she definitely doesn't know that she deserves better. Some men are wonderful and kind, but you will never find them if you stay with people who treat you like shit. NTA, yes, please get some therapy so that you can learn to love yourself enough to leave this loser. I'm sorry, I know that's an escalation, but he's a loser and he gets it from his mom. You deserve so much better. Am I the antagonist for not allowing alcohol? I have a pool and agreed to host the 4th of July celebration for our family because no one else really has a nice space. I've always been of a mind that alcohol plus water don't mix. Alcohol contributes to numerous drownings every year. There will be several small children present at this event, some of whom can't swim. I'm not signing up to babysit everyone else's kids. I told everybody if they come to my party they can't bring alcohol and got huge pushback. I said fine, that I can just close the pool instead. They don't want that either. I suggested someone else host. No one volunteered. I'm getting a lot of pushback from people saying you have to drink on the 4th of July and people saying I'm a killjoy and a fun vampire. I feel I have presented 3 reasonable options. Option 1, no alcohol. Option 2, no pool. Option 3, don't come to my house. My family are all pissed, and even my wife says I'm being too strict, and we could compromise by disallowing hard liquor, but letting people drink beer. I don't really see how that's a solution though. Am I a fun vampire? Update, I retracted my offer to host. There will be no pool party. They can get drunk wherever they like, but my pool will be locked up, and my family is gonna go watch fireworks. I'm so sick of entitled people. As a former lifeguard, I'm happy that someone is being cautious on July 4th. I'm a surgical trauma IQ nurse, and I appreciate your responsibility. I believe it to be a little excessive if your family is more inclined to just have a few beers without anyone getting dirty. Comment by team member Jordan. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, but you need to cancel hosting the party. It's a given, by the way they're all acting, that these people are planning to bring alcohol. No matter what you say, you won't be able to stop it if everyone is just blatantly drinking. And there will be crazy drama when you inevitably start throwing people out of your house because of it. Kids will be crying. Adults will be shouting. Cops are going to get called. It will be a hot mess. Tell back M the fun vampire has spoken. There shall be no 4th of July celebration at your house. NTA back when I was a lifeguard, I used to work private events like this for the exact reason you are concerned Opus. Adults wanted to have fun. Fair. Kids were present. Pool was open. Easy solution was to throw some cash and a burger at an 18-year-old to watch the kids. When I had a pool, I did this regularly. 1 to 2 lifeguards for 4 hours paid between $100 to $150 each. I also had life vests that any kid who couldn't swim the width of the pool without assistance had to wear if they were in the backyard. People said I was neurotic, but I've heard too many tragic stories and would rather be overly cautious than tragic. Edit to ab not the a-hole. As a former pedzer nurse, I can get behind your desire to not have drowning kids/people. Edit, not the a-hole.